Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and on the show this week, I got a special features for you. Interview featuring a new friend of the show, Paul Little, one of Ian's buddies. He's one of the co-founders of CanadaMovies.net back in 2001, which found themselves shortly after that rebranding the website into ShowBizMonkeys.com because Paul just doesn't love movies. He loves movies and music and comedy and late night and sketch and so many different things in the pop culture universe. I figured, wouldn't it be fun to talk this guy's head off? So we talk about the humble beginnings of CanadaMovies.net, comedy in 2022, what the man is watching, his obsession for Conan O'Brian, and so many more things. This guy's such a talker. I loved it. He's another podcaster. It's not that hard to talk to another podcaster, it would seem. So, Paul, thank you for coming on the show. Check out ShowBizMonkeys.com. You can find that on any one of your browsers. Follow them. Follow the Purple Room. They put on shows around the province as well, too. So I think he is doing something at the end of the month. Check the show notes. All of the accurate information that I clearly have forgotten will be there. So that's who's on the show. That is what is on the show. I got no housekeeping for you. Besides, if you're new, subscribe to the show. That's about it. And if you are new, there's an end credit trailer at the end of this episode. Everybody who's been hanging around for a while knows it. But if you are new, listen to it, because it is how you can join the Debaterverse, which is just our own little world of all the things that we do, the side projects that we have. Ian and his filmmaking, Martin and Jimmy with their comedy. If you want to shop our merch, if you want to follow along with the show, all that stuff is there for you. Hit the link in our bio, either on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. On top of that, I got nothing else for you. So I will cue that reel. I will give you Paul Little, and you enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official space section of the charter.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order? I show you out of order!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the Reel Debaters podcast. Welcome back to where we ask our favorite question. What happens when real life meets real life? I have a special guest for you this week. This is a gentleman who paid me my most favorite compliment I've had so far with the show, which was, you just continue with the same shit. You don't break stride. And as soon as you said that to me, Paul, I walked out of the room with a fucking extra step in my stride that day, because that's all we've tried to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have got Paul Little from Showbiz Monkey, from the Purple Room, from Winnipeg Comedy. There's so many things you've got your hands in, isn't there?
Yeah, sure. We'll say that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
At different times, different amounts of hands.
Different decades,
yeah,
different
exactly,
plates, different.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So thank you very much for coming on the show first of all.
Thank you for having me. And it was a huge compliment that I was paying you with that, because as you said, you did, went down into the rabbit hole of showbizmonkeys.com a little bit.
Yeah.
You can see the content isn't always consistent. It's not always there.
But it's inconsistently consistent.
True. We ended up just branding it that way.
But kind of sort of podcast.
Exactly.
I love it because it leaves so much fucking room.
But whenever people come to me for advice about wanting to start a podcast or whatever, the first thing I tell them is you need to commit to being consistent.
As a person who's a neurodivergent and suffers from ADD, I can't begin to tell you how hard it is, because as soon as I go, ooh, new idea, and I'm like, not yet, right? Like, write it down, put it in the file, and then marinate a bit with it, right? And then figure out when to insert it. Because have you listened to our first episode?
I don't know.
Okay,
not your first one.
The first one's the best one, because it starts with, I think we're recording. Yeah, no, we're definitely recording now.
Yeah. And
it's just this, like, two guys who are super panicked. It's taken 5 hours to figure out the gear.
Yeah.
Because I just went and bought it. And, I do things out of order. I'm like, I'm not going to read about how to podcast. I'm just going to buy the gear and I'll figure it out as I go. And it's this sweet, genuine, like, Martin, I think we got it, Martin. Okay, let's start the show. Whatever the show is, let's start the show. So from get-go, it's been this little adventure of try this. And eventually, all of a sudden, I woke up one day and I was like, I think we have a thing.
Yeah.
And as soon as you kind of have that aha moment, stick with it. And then everything else can kind of come into place.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You want to talk about doing things backwards. We have episodes of our podcast that predate our podcast.
How is that possible?
Because we did audio interviews.
Oh,
before podcasts were a thing. we would post audio interviews.
Just an RSS feed and...
Well, no, before an RSS feed, we would just embedded
Okay, yeah.
on the website.
Like MySpace embedding code?
Yeah, like we would just embed an audio player.
Fuck.
And you could listen to the audio version. We'd have the written up version of the interview, and then you could also listen to the audio version because I recorded the audio, so why not put it up there for people to listen to?
And there's no name for it at the time. It's just an interview.
Right. And then when we started the actual podcast and started like having some longer recordings and making it a real thing, then I realized, I still have all these audio interviews that aren't part of the podcast, but they are, essentially. So...
Everything recorded.
I can't remember the exact year that the podcast started, like as named the podcast. Probably 2013-ish, I want to guess.
Okay.
But you can go back and listen to my like 2007 interview with Chester from The Lonely Island and our little interview.
I saw that.
Andy Samberg.
Yes, I've been meaning to come back to that. I was like, "Fuck, you have Lonely Island?"
And we have. That's basically
Jack
kept us
Sparrow.
going. Is we have so much Lonely Island content. We had like lucked out in some connections back in the early days of when we rebranded to Showbiz Monkeys, and that kept us going for a while. Is having those connections. And
I told you we would start with like our watch list, but we're already on Showbiz, so we might as well just start there. No, dude, I don't give a shit. We were hard and loose here. So with Showbiz Monkeys, established 2001, correct?
Yes, as CanadaMovies.net.
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
I read the little bio on it. So, what made you want to play in that world? Like, what's the impetus? Is that what they call it? The
Impetus?
impetus?
Right?
Yeah,
I think so.
some Greek thing.
Yeah.
Sure. What was the brainchild of it all?
So I knew someone who was doing movie pass giveaways.
Okay.
And they were doing
The golden ticket.
Yeah, this is in well, he was a friend's brother, so I knew him in high school, and he was already doing it in high school. He had somehow connected to like the movie studios and was like giving away passes at school, and then he connected with a local website that was doing movie showtimes, and they started doing these movie giveaways. Well, I worked with him over I was working for a couple years at HMV, and he was hired as Christmas staff. And mentioned that the studios loved the idea of giving movie passes online.
Sure.
And wanted to know if he would extend it nationwide instead of just in Winnipeg, because there weren't websites giving away movie passes online in 2001.
That's really weird.
And so I said, well, I just graduated from a web development diploma.
Sure.
So
I'm in the perfect position.
If that guy doesn't want to go national with his website, let's make one.
Yeah.
So we did. And so it had showtimes, and it had movie pass giveaways, and then DVD giveaways. Well, VHS giveaways actually for,
I was
for
gonna
a
say,
little
right
bit.
on the
Cusp there. I had some cases of VHSs for a little bit.
Wow.
Lizzie McGuire movie, had those on VHS. We gave those away. I remember that one for sure. And
don't forget your first list.
Yeah, exactly. And then we brought people in to do reviews too, because we figured we got this website.
Yeah.
So let's find some friends that I know that were interested in writing. One of my friends was in film studies at the time. And so he did it, and a few other connections we had, a local radio DJ who's still around, Tom Milroy. He would write reviews back in the early days. And you know Aaron Murky, right?
Yes, I do.
So he was like an up-and-coming comedian who had worked in Toronto a bit.
Been on the show, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, him and wife.
And we had connected around that time, and he was interested in writing some stuff. So we just had all these little bits of content, and then we did
right when everything's happening too.
Yeah,
right?
and so we did giveaways in Winnipeg and Calgary to start, and then we added Edmonton, and then we added Vancouver, Toronto. We did some in the States for a bit. We did New York, Chicago, Boston, because they all wanted to do giveaways online, and we were like, okay, I guess we're starting a Boston section of the website.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any connections
Sure.
to Boston, but sure, New York, we had Aaron Murky move to New York for a bit, and he was kind of our go-to there. But yeah, then it just became like a national thing, a way for us to give away movie passes. So we had we were CanadaMovies.net in Winnipeg and Calgary.
Yep.
And Edmonton, I think. And then everywhere else, we didn't have the whole, like, we didn't do showtimes and any of that, so we were branded as moviecontest.com.
Okay. Very easy to find.
Very easy to find. And that was our thing for a long time. We were just Canada Movies, Movie Contest, but it's kind of weird to have two brands in one website. Like, they looked the same.
Fast
but
forward
depending
20
on
years,
which
it's
city,
not weird.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. But you go to different cities, and it would have
Be a
different
different title.
Yeah,
and
so then I realized, well, I'm also really into comedy. I'm also really into music. I'm a musician myself. Like, that's the thing I do in
That's the
arts.
base.
Like, yeah. I love TV, and I love movies, but like I love all these things. So like we should probably rebrand, because we had already covered a little bit of TV on there and that kind of thing. So it's like we should rebrand and like really start covering more than just movies.
Yeah.
Still keep doing the movies, but like expand a little bit. And so I was brainstorming with a friend of mine from out west, who she was going to help out with the website a little bit, and we were brainstorming one night and came up with the name.
It's a great title.
And then then we rebranded in 2007 with a couple big interviews, like the Chester Tam and Andy Samberg ones.
What were those guys like? That's early on, right?
Yeah, so I was a Lonely Island fan pre-SNL.
Yeah, you found them.
So I found them on
online.
Channel 101 and like that kind of stuff, like when they're doing
the
stuff
grassroots
online.
shit.
Exactly. And I was like a super fan. My friend Brad and I were just both super fans, and we had gotten a few of other friends into it. And so when they got SNL, it was like, whoa, these are people like us. Like, we related to them in, like, making just silly comedy videos, and, like, they made it. They're on SNL. 2 of them are writing, 1 of them's on. And then the next summer, they get this movie that's, like, coming out, like a Paramount release. Like, they
I
made
jizzed
a
in my
movie.
pants.
Yeah. That turned into that. Like, it's just,
Right.
And so I just reached out to they had a website, lonelyisland.com, run by Chester Tam, who was like a filmmaker friend of theirs that had like been in a bunch of their shorts but wasn't like the core 3, because the core 3 grew up together. And I reached out to the website and reached out to him and said, hey, you're involved with these guys too. You're in the movie. Like, he's in Hot Rod as Richardson. If you've seen the movie or remember it.
I vaguely remember it. Andy Samberg was I had a big following for him on the show, but his off cast
wasn't
stuff didn't hit.
That's fair.
Anyways,
well, hopefully they're not listening right now.
No, I highly doubt it. I love them now. Like, I'm late to the party. Like, on everything, I'm always the last guy in the room.
But yeah, I reached out, and he was just so nice. He's like, "Oh yeah, you want to talk to me? Sure." And so I did.
Yes, please.
And then through the movie studio, we got like a short interview as part of like a press junket thing, a short phone interview with Andy. And
5
so that
minutes,
was
go.
like, and that was me sharing it with the guy that I work with in Vancouver, who
is that Andrew?
No, that he's in Toronto. Andrew
He's in Toronto.
Lazard, who's from here. Mark McLeod, he was handling all the movie giveaway stuff, but then he would do interviews sometimes.
How many
and
of
all
there
that.
were you at one point?
I mean, there's been so many. At the most, there were probably like, I don't know. Well, we had reps in each city to handle like the in-person screenings.
Yeah, sure.
So we had like 6 reps at the most, and then probably like somewhere 7 to 10 active writers at like the height of when we had the most active content going.
Sure,
where we were posting every day, because we had like TV coverage and everything. Where like 2008, 2009, 2010, that kind of time period. And everyone was just, including me, just doing it on a voluntary basis. None of us were making a cent, but we wanted a platform that could like and get some free.
Isn't that how you do it? Though?
Yeah.
Right. You got to do it for free, and then eventually someone's like, "You're cool. Okay, we'll pay you."
Yeah. So anyway, we didn't really get to know Andy that well in that like 5 minutes, but he was very nice.
Yeah.
And then I had my I can't remember the order, but I had a half-hour chat with Chester where we really dove deep into like
That's
old
a lot
Long
of
Island
time.
stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And he was like incredibly friendly and
Isn't it nice when they're like that?
Absolutely.
Right? Like, they've got all the right, not the right, but they've got all the ability in the world to hand me my things, right?
Absolutely.
And then when you're like talent crush, I crush on everybody's talent. Me and
Yeah.
Sean will be watching something, and I'm just like, she's like, "You're crushing," and I'm like, "Yep, I don't don't have a boner. I just love her talent, or
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to him. I just love his talent,
Yeah.
right?" And
you can sense it, and you can like
Yeah.
you're attracted to the talent. Yeah,
totally.
You want
And
to
then-
see more.
And then when you get a chance to talk to them and ask them questions, and they're like, "Yes, this is how you do things," I'm like, "Oh," like I got to talk to Kevin Smith.
Right. Okay.
That's my thing,
Yeah.
right? And having those moments where I was like, Skip the Dishes was like, "Hey, you can have a couple of your own questions, but just keep it on brand." And I was like, "Fair enough." So I'm like, "All right, so in Tusk." No, I'm kidding. Like,
You went deep. Yeah.
but yeah, like I tied everything into some Winnipeg thing, but he was so nice, and it was just like, okay, like I'm good now. I can talk to anybody because now I know what this feels like. I'll just be more excited if it's Brad Pitt, but you know, you get an understanding of how the communication goes.
And so that all happened at once. Like
That's
in the summer
lot.
of 2007, I had those 2 interviews just before going on a trip to Europe. And
the summer of Paul.
Yeah, but then when I got back from Europe, I went to like the tail end of that trip was a trip to New York City, where I got to interview writer Brian Stack, who at the time was writing on Late Night with Conan O'Brian. Now he's moved to Colbert. A few years ago, he moved to Colbert. But he's like a legend. If you've ever watched Conan, he's played so many legendary characters that you would recognize. Like he's like the one that's in all the sketches, and he still is on Colbert. He does all the cold opens. And
I know what you're talking
I'm like
about.
a huge fan of his, and the timing worked out where this is my first in-person interview that I've ever done. I did the 2 phone interviews before my trip.
Where were you when you were doing were you here?
So, no. So I was sitting in his office in 30 Rock in the Late Night with Conan offices. Like I got my little NBC badge to get up the elevator. It's like
and some page is walking you around.
It's like 11. No, just him, because it was like 11 at night. That was when he was free, and I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I don't fly home till tomorrow evening. Let's do this, because he wasn't sure if he would be free to do it, but he was, and he got the little badge for me and brought me up to his office, and we chatted for 30 minutes about comedy and like
getting
all the stuff
nuggets like that from writers like that. I imagine I can't imagine.
And that was my introduction to doing interviews. Like I'd been a behind the scenes person on the website.
Yeah.
I had written the odd review when like it was necessary. Like I couldn't find someone else, and we needed to review this movie that, you know, NSI Film Festival was putting out, and we said we would do it. And no one else was there, so I'd write something together. But otherwise, I had not written anything or interviewed anyone. I was coding the website. Like I'm a web developer, so I was coding the website and like handling the promotions and giveaways at movie screenings and stuff. But like that was
you weren't front of house
at all. Yeah. And then suddenly I'm like interviewing like people I admire in comedy.
Not just people, but people that you have a connection with in some way, which is bigger than XYZ interview, right?
Like people that I admire incredibly. And like my first 3 interviews are people that I like admire incredibly.
Checking boxes, motherfucker.
And then it's just like, well, now, I mean, everything else is gravy.
Yeah.
Like 15 years later, it's all gravy. And I've gotten some opportunities over that time to have more of those, like chats with people I admire and all that. But
I think it's more about learning if you can do it than doing it, right? Because like I knew, I was like, don't geek out, don't geek out, don't geek out, don't geek out, right? Like you're getting paid, you're getting paid, you're getting paid. Those were all the things I was worried about. I wasn't worried about being like, hey, dude, I love your movies. Let's talk about dumb shit, right? Just like, hey, man, I love your writing. Let's talk about how you come up with your bits. What's your premise, right? Like, how do you form a joke? All of the things that you want to know.
Right, because you have a genuine interest.
Yeah.
And that's what like, it hasn't always happened where, like, sometimes I'm pitched an interview and I'm going to say yes even if I don't know who it is because of the connection or because they seem nice and I want to help them out or whatever. But like most of the time,
Thank
it's...
you.
No. I mean,
I'm just messing with you.
No, when I interview you, that's what it'll be.
Okay.
No.
The tables have turned, ladies and gentlemen.
But no, what I most of the time, I only respond to things where I actually know the work that they've done.
Yeah.
Or it's someone I've reached out to because I'm interested in what they've done. And so I do that not because like, oh, I only care about talking to people that I like. It's that I want to make sure it's a good interview. And I know it'll be a good interview if I know the subject matter and if I care about the subject matter. Because I know I can ask the right questions for that.
That's the thing about guys like Sean Evans from First We Feast with Hot Ones. Like the curated, deep digging questions. I'm just like, oh my God, if I could write one of those, I'd be fucking flying, right? And no, I totally get it, man.
I'm going to give a shout out to my friend Melanie Dolly, a comedian from here.
Yes, I know who she
lives
is.
In Toronto now and is killing it there. When Hot Ones started bursting onto the scene, she out of nowhere like messaged me, have you heard of Hot Ones? I'm like, yeah, I've watched a few episodes. She's like, Sean Evans reminds me a lot of you.
Oh, that's a compliment.
And I was like, thank you very much. That is so kind.
Do I nerd out and ask unbelievable questions that shock the guest every time?
Like you're wrong, but I appreciate it. Like I appreciate it. Like he's a pro, I'm a skilled amateur.
Yes,
is how I would put it. But
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with that from now on. I'm a O tour from my basement.
There you go.
Instead of
it's a lovely basement, by the way.
Thank you very much. Again, this is the only room that I was allowed to do anything with. All of this stuff just eventually, whenever I buy something, it just makes its way into this room, even if it doesn't belong here.
Yeah.
She's just like, fucking put it in your room.
Like, okay.
Anyway, so like with the entertainment, because like when I got into this, I did this because of rejection. I did this because I wanted to prove that I could do this. And I did this because a lot of people were like, you should be in radio because you have that voice. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have the face though. And that's what, people see. So when they hire you, I mean, not on the radio.
Yeah. I mean, that's also not true. But anyway,
it just
you have a great face.
Thank you. I just wanted to be like, okay, if someone says to you, you should be in radio, let's see if you can do it. This was the hobby way of doing it, right?
Absolutely.
And then
podcasts are radio, the new radio anyway.
Exactly. They're unadulterated, unrated radio.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And more popular.
Yeah.
Now.
Placeable. Like when you know that the radio station morning show is converting their morning show into a podcast, you're in the right room.
Absolutely.
Right. But I got into this and I never thought in my head, I love movies. I love talking about movies. The way me and my friends talk about movies are really stupid. Might make people laugh. Let's try that.
Yeah.
But then I went, fuck. You have to ride this wave constantly. And I know you said that primarily right now is podcasting, comedy, and music, right? Like that's the basic of Showbiz Monkeys
at this
now.
point, yeah.
But at one point, you were doing it all by the sounds of it.
I mean, yeah, but like I had writers, so like
yeah. What I'm saying is how nuts is that? In like, how hard is it to stay at the fucking tip of that wave?
You mean content wise?
Yeah, content wise. Yeah,
it was impossible when we didn't have a budget and we weren't making money. Like we were around before there was an EW.com or all those like big entertainment sites. Like we were
Screen
around
Rant, IMDb,
like way
Rotten
before
Tomatoes,
those ones. Yeah,
dude, I remember jerking off to dial-up porn 3 years before you started your fucking website. So yeah, you were right around the time of everything starting.
And we could have been those sites if we had money behind us, but we didn't. I was like, living at home with my dad and working freelance web development and enjoyed getting free movies and going to see the new Lord of the Rings before anyone else could all that stuff.
That inside shit.
This is just cool. And we could give away passes to like just random strangers on the internet. And then also I have a few for my friends so that they could go see it.
Yeah.
And, it was just, it was fun and it was worth it. And then people had opportunities to flex their writing muscles when they wanted those opportunities. And we had a platform that had eyes that could give them those opportunities. And so for a while, a lot of people wanted that because it was a new thing. There weren't again, our site is set up like a blog, but like blogs weren't a thing when we set up the
None
site.
of this had a name.
And then eventually, as I like recoded it years later, you change the blog. It's a blog now, but it was just a website with like stories in a row and then a next page. That's a blog.
Yeah,
it wasn't called that then. So it's just bizarre that we just made it work, and we had all these people producing. Like we had daily TV listings every day. And
that's what I'm saying. Like all of these things that all of your writers and content creators are going after, they're making content before content was a fucking buzzword.
Exactly.
Right. They're on a thing that was just released from DARPA and the military, and now the public has access to it.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's so many things around. Like I find it really interesting that you were designing your website at the height of the at the birth of the internet, while at the same time entertainment's now shifting into the digital world.
Yeah.
So it's this new fucking highway that has no rules. Like that must have just been really fun to be a part of.
It was very, very fun to be a part of, and it's interesting to look back now because we still produce content, right?
Yeah.
But
you're more focused.
We're more focused, and like then we were, like I said, one of the only ones. Like I remember we were, we did a few big contests with Warner Brothers in the U.S. So these were Canada-U.S. contests. Like a lot of the stuff we did was Canada only, but this was like, they would put out home video releases, home DVD releases, and we would do giveaways tied to that, or prize packs or whatever, that were nationwide. And you would go to so I can't remember which movie it was, which Harry Potter movie it was, but one of the Harry Potter movies, Like, you would go to the official Harry Potter Warner Brothers movie website, and they would have a tab that said contests, and you would click on that, and they'd have a list of like 20 or 30 websites that were doing giveaways, and we were on there. So, like, on the official
you're riding the Potter train.
Harry Potter website, we're like linked to so people can enter. So, like, suddenly we have 15,000 entries into a contest because we're linked from the Harry Potter website.
You literally were on the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah.
That's
and
so
it's
cool.
Just, you know, and to look back at that.
Yeah.
And now there are literally, not exaggerating, literally 1 million websites covering entertainment or more.
Yeah.
And so now we're just, because we didn't have the budget to like build it up to become an Entertainment Weekly or E-News or whatever,
launch it when everyone else was,
we're just one speck in that massive, you know, universe of this kind of thing. But for a little while, a real cool period of time, like, we were the only website in Canada where you could win movie passes. Like, think about it. Like, you can go to any radio station website in the country.
I walked into Landmark and asked the lovely gentleman who manages Landmark, can I have 5 free passes for our live podcast? He didn't even look at my donation letter and gave them to me. So I know what you're saying.
But like back then, it was such a unique thing. And like I said, the blog and all these things, you know, like we'd put up interviews on YouTube, and YouTube was new. So like they'd get
YouTube wasn't racist at the time.
Yeah. Well, it probably was from the beginning. If
it just didn't have an algorithm then.
Yeah, exactly. But the comments sure were. But
fucking comments.
But yeah, we you know, would get tons of views on these videos because there weren't a lot of them. Now we're just a speck, and if we're not promoting it or getting that right algorithmic like click or link, then
proper
we don't get
SEO
as many
and all that.
We don't get
shit.
as many views on those videos or whatever. But like we have, like you were talking about, I can't remember if it was before or after we started recording, but you were talking about like just how much content is on this website.
Yes.
Like, it's been running since 2001. We have all the old reviews from like when we were Canada.
You're indexed. You've got everything.
I transfer them all over to the database because originally it was just an HTML website with like a new page for each review, like a new physical
new page,
yeah.
Open parentheses, close parentheses.
Yeah. Kate and Leopold 1.html.
Yes.
That's right. We have more than one Kate and Leopold review on our website because when people wanted to go to the free movie, they were like, well, I'll write a review, but someone else was also writing one. It's like, whatever, we'll post up 2 reviews for Caitlin.
Yeah, why not? Well, now Letterboxd is multiple.
Well, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You know? I wonder how many people saw your shit and they were like, oh, let's take that idea and run with it. Like, have you ever seen your proprietary idea somewhere on someone else's site?
100%.
Yeah?
Yeah, there was...
you don't have to mention any names, but fuck them.
No. I'll just say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there were times where, like, we let, like... an alternate domain name drop, and then, you know, a few months later, like, so moviecontest.com, right?
Sure.
We had that running from 2002 to, we rebranded in 2007, but I kept the domains for a while, like Canada Movies and Movie Contest. I kept them going for a little while just because people might find it, old links on old websites, whatever. Nostalgia, exactly. It's like, you know, $30 a year to
someone is using your website to bookmark an article that they've read.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
So I did that for a little bit, and then it's like, well, there's no real point at this juncture to like keep paying that money.
Yeah.
So let it drop. The Movie Contest one I let drop first. And remember, I don't know if they even exist anymore. Tribune, the Canadian.
Oh, fuck. The one you get in the movie theater?
Yeah. I don't know if they even exist anymore.
No, they don't.
Okay.
They folded.
Do they have a website still?
Maybe they're digital only.
I hope they don't.
Fuck you,
but
Tribune.
No. Short while later, I see MovieContest.com is owned by Tribune. They were watching it because we were giving away movie passes before they were online.
That's the shit I'm talking about, man. Like
and they followed us, but they had the money and they had so then they became what we thought we might be able to become.
Sure, yeah.
But they actually did it, and they had the obviously they had the magazine before that, and they turned it into digital. But it's just interesting, like that they were watching it. Like I didn't think they cared, but then like right when it was available again, they bought it up and it forwarded
fucking humans,
to their,
man. We're so weird.
their website. It's just very bizarre.
That's a huge compliment, though. Like, you know, they were like, when this guy when that patent goes, or when the option on that fucking site is gone in this scenario, right? They're like, we'll scoop it because obviously it's doing something well.
Yeah. Well, and there were other little things like, you know, pages designed the exact same way we had ours designed.
So who are you working
like
at
that.
Warner Brothers with? Like, how do you get into the Warner Brothers media department, because like I've emailed them to be like, can I talk to one of the brothers? I'm just kidding. But like,
See, but this is we're talking
pre-dawn of everything.
Yeah, and I'm sure, I know that some of this information is still available out there, but like you just go, all these studios have press websites. You got to know what the address is.
Yep.
But they have media press websites, and you go there, and then there's just email addresses for like the person who handles contests for Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, and then just click on it and send an email. And I guess back then they got a lot less emails. I don't know.
They probably did.
But like there was it didn't end up working out, but just to show you how easily accessible it was then, this isn't the case now. But I was a big fan of Scrubs when it was on, the television show Scrubs. Huge fan. And then in, I think it was 2008, there was a writer's strike.
Yep.
And so just during that time, I was going to LA. So I reached out to ABC, who produced the show.
Yeah.
I saw, went to their press website and saw who handles like ABC television studios. So like not the TV station, but the production company.
Yep.
And saw a name and made a cold call saying, hi, my name is Paul from showbizmonkeys.com in Winnipeg, and I'm going to be in LA. And I was wondering if there would be a potential opportunity to do a set visit on Scrubs and talk to Bill Lawrence, the creator, and do that sort of thing. And left voicemail. Thought I would not get a response. I'm walking through the food court at St. Vital Mall, and I see a call from a U.S. number that I don't recognize. Answer it, and it's this person calling me back the same day.
Yeah.
Saying, we'll see. We'll actually see what we can do. It looks like the writer's strike is about to end, so we're not sure about like the schedules and how everything will work out. But I'll get in touch with Bill, and we'll see what we can do, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. How does that sound? I'm like, that sounds great. Thank you.
You called back, first of all. So.
Yeah, it ultimately didn't happen. The scheduling didn't work, but it was because the scheduling didn't work.
Yeah, not because you weren't approved,
right? And we were. Like, we've got lots of content, but like we're nothing. Like in the grand scheme of things, like we didn't become those sites I was talking about.
Yeah,
like we're small potatoes, but they gave us the time of day, and people still do. People are still great to us because they know
your story. They know where you came
and they
from.
know we're passionate about what we're doing.
Yeah,
they know that we have 20 years of history covering these things, and they know that that there's an archive that they can be a part of and they can get the word out. And so we still get people reaching out all the time.
I have to say, like, as much as I downplay the fact that, you sent the email and they said yes, like I've sent messages and people have said yes. Like the reason, and it's literally, that's all I do is just send messages to people and be like, what do you want to talk about with me besides the best parts of your career? That's all I'm interested in, right? I'm interested in your behind-the-scenes story.
Absolutely.
Not hard to get somebody talking about stuff like that. So to every guest who we've had on the show, thank you again for saying yes. Doug Morrow specifically, he was the first guy who said yes to me. I was pissing my pants talking to him the first time. Never told him this, but like he came over to my apartment and I was just jittering because I was like, dude, you do makeup for Chucky. Like you're going to answer all the questions I've had for something. So yeah, it is really just about asking and having some fucking manners and seeing where you fit in the food chain. And hopefully it works.
Being okay with not getting a response.
Yeah.
Being okay with getting a response that says no. And just doing it. Like that, I tell people this all the time, and it transcends, media. Like it's in every aspect. I only have the experience of doing it in this context. But I'm like, you have to ask. Like if it's not going to take like an inordinate amount of your energy to do it. Like if it's a simple ad, like if you don't have to like produce something to just get a question, right? Like you don't have to like put a ton of work in just to get in the door. But if you like, just ask. Like the worst that happens is you don't get a response, you get a no. And so that's how, got that Chester Tam interview, like the first cold email that I got. The Brian Stack one at Conan he had reached out to me on like a comedy message board when he saw that I was coming to New York and looking for tickets. And
message boards.
Connected that.
Yeah.
There's an old comedy message board called A Special Thing where all the top comics actually posted themselves. Like Patton Oswalt had a thread on there and Brian Stack and all these people were on there regularly. And it was wild, like Tenacious D in their early days. And but he reached out to me and said, hey, because he's literally the nicest person on the planet. He's known in the entertainment industry as like the nicest person. He reached out to me and said, hey, I saw you're coming to New York. Usually this is too late to get tickets through the way that it's set up online, but I can get you in. Would that work? And I was like, yeah, that would work. And then I'm like, you know what?
Damn Skippy.
I'm just going to go for it. Even though he's giving me something so great, I'm just going to go for it. And I'm like, while I'm there, we're actually, I run this website and we're rebranding right now to cover more than just movies. And would you be interested in sitting down for an interview while I'm there? And that's how it happened. That's how the ball, because I just was like, I might as well ask.
And then you hear the stories of like, yeah, they just showed up and asked. And you're like, fuck, I'm an idiot. I need to ask questions.
As long as you're okay with getting a no. Like some people don't ask questions because they can't handle not hearing back or not getting a no. And that's, if you can't handle that, then don't.
And you know what? In this world, everybody's getting a no.
Yeah.
The media guy's getting a no. The wardrobe guy's getting a no. The agent's getting a no. Everybody's giving no's constantly in this world because it's such a protected world and there's such financial casualties that like you can't, if you say yes to everything, you burn out or you'll fuck yourself up. So no, it makes sense. Fozzie's people, Chris, I reached out to Chris Jericho's representation just to be like, does he want to, 15 minutes. That's it. 15 minutes. If it turns into more, I'll take a minute between his trailer break. I don't give a shit. Like whatever he's doing, I will be on standby for it. And they were like, he's super busy right now. I'll reach back in a couple months. And they even sent an email back and they're like, still really busy. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah. They were honest. And
acknowledged what I needed. I can go to bed happy and not wonder if I pissed off Jericho's people, right? With some dumb, cheesy one-liner. I'm really curious. After like watching a thing changes a thing. You talk about movies enough and movies change for you.
Yeah.
You watch enough television, it changes for you. You spend enough nights at stand-up and comedy changes for you.
Yeah.
How has media changed for you doing this for 20 years? Do you still have the same love of making the site and procuring it and getting all the people? And do you still love the content that you're producing, or have you become jaded being so close to writing about it and interviewing about it and doing it for so long?
No, because like I started it when I was 19 years old.
How old are you now?
40.
Okay.
So like it's
we're in it.
A large part of my media consumption has been through this lens. So like
it's always been
my whole
this way.
Adult life I've consumed media by being a pretend member of it. Like I
love your wording, man. Yeah, no, I get it.
But I've had that, like, I haven't been truly behind the scenes for the most part, but I've been like on the edge of being behind the scenes watching this, whether it's seeing a movie 2 days before it comes out or
interviewing the latest artist rolling through town.
Yeah. Or being on, I've had the opportunity to be on a few TV sets, as, the show's being filmed.
Sure, yeah. You get to watch the sausage getting made.
Exactly. So I've had a little bit of that. I'm friends with lots of people that are actually in the industry, people that you've had on the show that kind of thing. Yeah. So like
and that's why
they're way more in it, right?
Yeah.
But I've had just that little taste of seeing it, and so like that's just how I've always viewed media.
Okay.
So when I watch TV shows and something happens where like a technical thing or whatever that the average person wouldn't notice, like I just notice it because I always have.
Yeah.
And with comedy, like I consumed so much stand-up comedy before I started interviewing comedians and like doing that like there's no more inside baseball that could change it for me because I already consumed it so much and so closely.
This is how it is for you.
That it's just I was already like analyzing it just in my head.
That's how you came to it.
Exactly, and loved the craft of it and all of that. And so then when I started to get to talk to these people, well, I was just now getting to verbalize the things that were already in my head and that I was already thinking about for years. Like when I first,
that's cathartic.
With Conan, like Conan, I mentioned him a bunch already because he's like
talk about Conan all day long.
He's my person in the entertainment industry. Like I started watching.
His story is something else.
Absolutely.
First of all, to leave The Simpsons.
Well, I just listened to his podcast network is like massive now.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts is
like the Team Coco stuff.
Yeah, the Team Coco stuff. There's so many shows now.
Really, I just want to know who he's friends with. I don't get.
He's brought in so many good people doing shows, but one of the shows are two of his writers, one long time writer, one that came on in the TBS show.
Doesn't Andy have one too?
Andy has his own, yeah.
Yeah.
But this one is called Inside Conan. They specifically, it started when they were still on the air regularly, and so they would talk to people who were appearing as guests on the show, and they would have like a chat on their experience of being on the show and stuff. But then since the show kind of changed in the pandemic and then wound down, what they've done over the last couple of years is reach out to like people that used to work on the show 20 years ago, and like their old announcer Joel Goddard had one last December, and one that just went up like a month ago, I think, or less than that, was with Conan himself and Jeff Ross, the producer from day one, talking about like how it started.
He does that every so often on Conan Needs a Friend, where like they'll get somebody on and then it'll unravel into, well, back when we started the show and we were doing this and we had no budget and you had to come up with something funny. And I was like, my God, I want to listen to these guys now, because out of everybody, I side with you. I'm a ginger ginger till I die, right? Like there is just something about him that is so. It's the zhuzh. I can't say it. I don't know. I don't have a word for it. You might.
Well, I don't know if I have a word. I have a blathering of several words that may connect together or not.
Blather.
But it's the sense of like play.
Yes.
That he has, and he has had from the beginning when they didn't know what they were doing, because he literally had like no on-camera experience other than like playing bit walk-on roles on SNL when he was a writer, and they'd like throw him out there because
we need
they liked
tall
him,
dude
and they're
in the
like,
background.
I want to get Conan in more sketches, even though he's not a writer, or he's only a writer.
He's not a
cast member or an actor. And then writing The Simpsons, where not only are you not on the show, but it's an animated show, so you're really not on the show. To then like being on camera, Lorne Michaels picking you out and saying, we want you. They actually wanted Gary Shandling, but Gary Shandling turned it down. And he
came out okay.
Yeah, exactly. It was the right choice for him. But Conan, like, he's like on camera and has to kind of pull this together. And so they had a sense of play at the beginning with that original writing staff and the crew and everything. But
very childish, very silly, very.
Almost 30 years later, he still has that. Like, you can see when you watch clips of his podcast and like see how they, like, you can hear it obviously too, but when you see it especially, you can see the sense of play in his eyes still there 30 years later.
Yeah.
And like that's what it is.
Okay, there it is.
I think.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Conan's play that keeps us so enthralled with the man, and like his interview style, and like his timing. It's his timing. It's being a writer. Yeah. And knowing where to pause, where to hold, where the bit is, where it's not, all that stuff is so intertwined in him because he's a writer before he's a performer.
Well, and here's the other thing with him being, with his podcast doing so well, because like on the late night show, for 20 plus almost 30 years, he did interviews, but those aren't real interviews, right? Those are like 5-minute,
do as you're told interviews,
semi-pre-planned, depending on who the guest is. Some of them more loose, but
give me 3 things we'll talk about, and I'll bring up one of them at some point.
Exactly. Yeah. So those are interviews, but they're not real interviews. But he is interested in a lot of things. Like he's so interested in like Civil War history and like Abraham Lincoln and past presidents and stuff like that.
Stuff and his everything about him is so classic and timeless, and it probably lends to the fact that he's got this knowledge.
And so when he tackles interview and stuff, so like before the podcast started, he did there's only maybe 4 or 5 of these on YouTube, where just as a web exclusive for his show at the time, he had a show called Serious Jibber Jabber with Conan O'Brian, and it was him sitting down with a guest that he had a history with and talking for an hour on camera, like in a black walled room. With just
my next guest is David Letterman kind of thing.
Exactly. And so he had like Martin Short. He had like a bunch of original Simpsons writers, like that kind of thing. Mel Brooks, I think he did one. But you could tell these were people that he knew their work and was passionate about it and wanted to get into their brains, and he was able to combine the fact that he had done all these like semi-fake showbiz interviews for so many years, but had the real interest in this stuff, and could turn it into a real interview. And so once he got the podcast, I knew right away, okay, this is going to work, because I saw those long form interviews, and I knew that he had the passion and would like kind of like. This is not at all me comparing myself to Conan O'Brien in any way, but in the same way that I only reach out to people that I'm interested in.
Keep
really
going.
to
You're
talk
fine.
to,
You're just comparing your tastes.
Conan tends to have guests on. Like Conan O'Brien needs
Oh.
a friend. They're people that he's had some passing friendship with or relationship with.
We went to dinner together. You came out to the family house, whatever, blah,
but
blah, blah.
we're not close friends
Yeah.
yet, or I've just admired your work and
Yeah.
I want to be your friend, that kind of thing.
Yep.
But they're people he wants to talk to, and it succeeds because they're having a conversation.
Yeah, kind of like right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he's the king of it. He's
Yeah.
the king of funny, and I can't wait until whatever they decide to do for HBO Max comes together.
Right.
Because it will.
Finally, he's
they've-
getting his
they've-
fucking just comeuppance.
Yeah.
Right? With the Leno dick
Yeah.
in all of that crap and it being so public and it was like, you beat a ginger up on the fucking in grade 5. Don't do it in real life.
Yeah.
It's actually.
Well,
don't do it ever, but-
we had, that was when all that happened, when the whole Tonight Show stuff happened, like we had covered some stuff with Conan, like leading up to that.
Yeah.
And so like we did this interview with one of his, like, well, he produces the podcast and all of that, Aaron Blair.
Yes.
He was like mostly a behind the scenes person at the time, but we had this like interview when the Tonight Show launched with him asking all these answering all these questions for us on video. It was one of our first video interviews and that kind of thing where he recorded himself and sent it in and all that.
Wow.
Which was great. So we had this like, not just me, but like the website felt like it had a connection to Conan.
Sure.
And so I had a weekly like, these are the late night guests you should watch this week, and here's the listings kind of thing. And I would do a little write up at the beginning to like talk about what was coming up,
Yep.
and then have the listings. Well, when all the shit went down with the Tonight Show and Leno wanting the thing back and NBC and all of that, I got to write some doozies because I had a weekly column
you were on
literally meant for this.
Oh my
And
God.
so I got to really vent and really analyze it and follow it closely and all that. And
Who does that, Jay? Who does that? Who gives it up? Who admits on television that they're giving it up and then takes it back and then pretends like doesn't even acknowledge it? That was the worst part.
Yes.
It was like you were completely like you didn't understand. This is a person that you just thought you could wipe off from the blemish of the Tonight Show that you thought it was.
Well, I think it's even colder than that. I think he didn't even think of it as a person.
he
like
just thought of it as a contract.
He thought of it as a contract, and he thought of it as like, well, I'm not happy with the.
I need more cars.
Yeah, well, basically, like I'm not happy with the work that they're giving me on this other show. I really want that back. It doesn't matter that someone else is there and has it. I don't care about the institution. I just want to be doing what I want in the time slot I want.
And such fucking low-hanging fruit comedy too.
Well,
Like,
yeah, like we don't need to get into how bad a comedian, and he used to be good. You watch old clips on YouTube of Jay Leno being a guest on David Letterman's old show in like 1985 or whatever, whenever it was. Like, he's funny because he was like actually a man of the people at the time.
He was
and,
on
like,
stage doing
He was on stage
stand-up.
doing stand-up and like not for like casino crowds of old people. He was like working clubs and like talking to people and being
on the road.
And then like once all the stuff he did to Dave, which was also like
He mowed through late night.
yeah,
Right?
like once all that happened, you could tell, well, he's just here for a for
paycheck.
for a paycheck and like an easy gig, an easy get. Like I don't think he cares about, like, he has so much money he can't possibly care about an extra dollar. I think he just
He's
likes
listening,
the,
don't worry.
the ease of it. Yeah, he's listening.
Yeah.
The Lonely Island not listening, but Jay Leno absolutely listening. He can hear the echoes of his name being out there. I need to hide in another closet and
I
see
need to
what's,
correct those rumors.
see what's being said about me. Hear what's being said about me.
With like you say, this is the way you've seen everything:
Yeah.
music, movies, television, comedy. Have you been watching comedy as long as you've been doing entertainment? Because if that's the case, what's your opinion of comedy today? Without getting too triggery, without getting too intense, just like the smacking of the Chris Rock, of the intensity that all of a sudden is comedy. Like, can it come back? Can we get back to like, we know these are jokes?
I mean, there was a lot more smacking going on in like the 70s in comedy clubs. Like it was
Ask Mitzi Shore.
That
She'll
was-
tell you fucking stories.
that was real rough.
if she
like,
was still alive.
like if you're comparing what we're comparing it to is
Yeah.
like 2002 when like
Yeah.
we had our second comedy boom. We had the big comedy boom in the 80s where everyone thought they could do comedy and there were comedy clubs on every corner.
Yep.
And then out of that rose the alternative comedy scene, because it wasn't, the mainstream comedy scene wasn't funny. Other than like the few people that did it great, it wasn't funny. So you had the alternative comedy scene with people like Janine Garofalo and Patton Oswalt and these people coming out of it and saying, we want to do something more raw again and do all of that.
Yeah.
And so then that grew to become the popular thing. And so then you had a second comedy boom in the 2000s, where again you saw, but in a different way, you saw alternative comedy become like the thing that everyone thought they could do and wanted to do or whatever.
And the mom and pop jokes and the easy stuff and the more easy listening, let's say, started to fall by the wayside.
Exactly, but then that became like everywhere and what everyone's known, thinks of with comedy. And like, I don't personally, as an observer, as someone who is not actively a comedian. Like I've never done stand-up because
that's what I'm saying. We're outsiders.
I revered
right?
it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm friends with a lot of stand-ups.
You revered it. You didn't want to fuck it up.
Exactly.
You didn't want to besmirch.
Well, I always tell I've had people over the years tell me, why don't you do stand-up? Like you're coming all these shows. Like why don't you get up there? It's like I love it, and I know what kind of work it takes to do it well. And I know I can't put that time in because I have too many other things that I'm doing. I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And so I can't do it the way that it needs to be done. I can do music because you can sing some songs and be fine. Like my voice is going to be my voice. I sang as a kid. I can sing fine. You can train to be better, and you can obviously do that. But with comedy, there's like, you have to be either all in or not at all. Like you can't, there's no middle ground, where I think there is for like the stuff that I do, which is like music and producing.
Well, it's more passive, right?
Yeah.
You can be, everybody's watching Thor, so everybody can have their own take on Thor.
Yeah.
But, not everybody can walk onto a comedy stage and be the Thor of comedy.
Right, because you have to do it all the time and perfect every last word. And so, my opinion of comedy is again, not coming at it as a comedian.
No,
but so comedians might disagree with this, but to me, but some comedians would agree with me, I think, from what I've seen, comedy's fine.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Comedy's fine. There's a couple things that maybe some people don't want you to say on stage. So either don't say them, because the audience is always right with comedy. You're either getting a laugh or you're not.
They paid to see you.
The audience is right. Like if they don't laugh, it's not the audience's fault.
Yeah.
It's your fault. Like you might not be bad either, but you're not making a connection with them. So like it's no one's fault.
Yes.
And so if there are things that people feel uncomfortable being said on stage, either only perform to people that you know are fine with it, or find a way to say it differently so that people understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And like, it's obviously come into the forefront the last couple of years, and we don't need to get all into it.
Yeah. I'm just,
but
as somebody who's watched countless hours of comedy and you've seen 20 years of industries change with how online it went. And so you've looked at it from, you built a website, you built a place for it to be talked about. It's your baby. You've nurtured it. You've carried it from generation to generation. And now it's this robust child that is ready for whatever, because it's been so many things. But your ideas, right? I can ask a comic what they think of comedy, but chances are any comic I ask, big or small, they're on the inside of it.
Right.
You're the observer. So and so am I with film and TV.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm kind of interested in your side.
Yeah, like I'm gonna like reference an actual comedian who like 5 or 6 years ago, when like there was just a little bit of like people saying, comedy isn't a safe place to say whatever you want anymore like it used to be. And again, it never was.
Yeah.
The audiences always decided, whether it was like network TV deciding what was okay, or live audiences or comedy club owners, whatever. There was someone deciding if this is fine or not. But Paul F. Tompkins said, like, I don't have it in front of me, so I'm paraphrasing.
Sure,
but he essentially said, like, you have to change with the audiences. Like, if the audiences want something different, you've got to meet them, because that's who you're trying to make laugh. Like, don't you want laughter? Like, that's the whole reason comedians do it, is to that dopamine feeling
joy.
Of getting the laughter from the audience.
Yeah.
You're not doing it like you go to open mics, and the worst people are there that are just there to shock the audience and not to get a laugh or make a connection. And they'll either keep doing that for years and never get better, or they'll only be up the one time because like you can't.
It's easy to make your friends laugh.
Yeah.
So make the audience your friends.
Yeah. And how do you do that if you're potentially alienating a group of them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't push boundaries, and I'm not saying don't, find a way to like say something like open people's minds to like a different way of thinking, but you've got to like find a way to like get them on board with the way you're thinking. And you can't do that if you use language that people find hurtful, or if you,
totally
say things that just we realize now are just not acceptable anymore. Like, there's a lot of racist stuff that was said in the 70s. There's a lot of, Eddie Murphy's specials in the 80s were...
I wasn't as good as I am now when I was 10, but I'm better now. So now I go, all right, that was a 10-year-old version of humanity. We're 40 now. We should know better.
Exactly. So that, as an observer of comedy, I feel that there is so much comedy out there that I can love still.
Yes.
Right now, that doesn't have to necessarily include things that I don't like. And if there are other people that like those things, well, fine. There's always been comedy that I've not liked that other people have liked. Not just now, for the last 30 years that I've been following comedy. And so that's fine. But like, there's lots of comedy for everyone out there.
There is.
And there's lots of good comedy to find out there. For me, I've more started going to the UK for the stuff that I watch.
You've gone across the pond.
Yeah, I've connected more with the comedians in that scene. Jimmy Carr, who has his own issues with controversy and stuff, but I think comes at it at a little bit of a different place, partly because of like the way he can explain it afterwards. And
Tom Segura is eating shit right now, and everybody loves Tom, right? Like Two Big Bears podcast, him and Kreischer. I mean, but like he was on Rogan, and Rogan was like, "Yeah, you should shoot you should shoot the homeless people in L.A." And Tom was like, "I like your ideas," and I was like, Tom.
Like, there's a way to just not, I don't know. Like, it's weird. Like, it's, with that whole stuff with Rogan, like, he's just got all these, like, old relationships with a lot of these comics. And so, like, they can't break those ties because they know him as just a comic that they worked with.
It's a complicated area.
So it's very complicated. But, like, yeah, Jimmy Carr, and like I watch all the UK panel shows and comedy and game shows and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Which brings me new comedians to follow and then watch their stand-up special and stuff, because they give the comics such good platforms over there to like become.
I guess so, yeah.
Like the US only does that when they're trying to copy a British version of a show. Like they have now. They've had, Whose Line Is Anyway? They took over, right? Yeah. Like they brought it over, and they've got up-to-date versions of those. Would I Lie to You is the current one.
I don't know if that's. Would I Lie to You?
Would I Lie? Well, yeah. So that's a whole. I ripped off their show and created a live comedy game show in Winnipeg here. That's basically a ripoff of a British game show called Would I Lie to You?
What's yours?
Pants on Fire.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I've seen that. I again, more things that I didn't know you did. All right. Fair enough.
So I co-produced that show as well. That's me saying, I love this show that I watch from the UK.
Let me do it without getting sued.
Well, how can we transfer it to a live audience? Tweak it so it can work as a live show. Because I think
changed it so you're not copying it.
Yeah,
sir.
I mean,
I'm just trying to defend it.
We've tweaked it enough that like but no, like we're copying it, and I'm fine telling people that because it's a live show and we're not actually copying. We're not producing it for TV. It's fine. If we did, I'd reach out to their producer. I've looked up his name. I've thought about it. Like they just released a US version this year. That actually is decent. Mostly when the U.S. tries to copy a UK show, this one's it's not the same because the commercial breaks kind of make it too short, but it's decent. It's hosted by Asif Manvi, and it's
I never even thought about reading other people's shows, watching other shows for comedians and getting them that way, because game shows, trivia shows, those are all like go-to comedians that get hired, right? They're good with the public. They're good on the fly.
Yeah, and
you put them on a game show, and then
they're usually a cross section of established comics in the UK and up and coming comics, and so it is it's a good mix of like discovering new faces and then discovering, oh, this person's still funny. I remember seeing them on. Whose Line Is It Anyway? When I watched the old British versions and they were on there, and well, they're still doing comedy, and now they're doing these panel shows with these young comedians that are awesome. And like one of my top 3 comedians in the world is James Acaster.
Okay, don't even know who that is.
Oh my!
Not surprised.
Oh, you need to look up, go to Netflix and watch his 4 specials that are all related. They're all 4. He did a 4 special.
That's cool.
That are kind of based on a Fringe thing he did in Edinburgh Fringe, but like he will blow your mind. And that's like before he starts getting like, that was when he was just an irreverent comedian, just being silly. Now he's like, talks about himself on stage, but he's still silly. Anyway, he's doing great work. But I discovered him on
game show
through like UK panel shows and stuff, and seeing him as a guest and finding him funny there, and then looking up his stand up, and then getting to interview him, while I don't think was aware that he was being connected to an interview that day through Just for Laughs. And so I'm pretty sure he was on a bus when I was interviewing him, and so there was like a weird delay and like I could hear chatter in the background the whole time.
You put the 2 and 2 together.
Well, I think it was said right at the beginning when we were like being introduced, and he's like, just so you know, I'm on a whatever. So it wasn't, I had to type out
I'm on a double decker
because the audio did not transfer very well, but it's there. We have an interview. It's there. It's just written out.
So,
but anyway, the UK comedy scene, I think, is doing great things right now. Canada's done a little bit with that, with like the Debaters and stuff like that.
You would think that I love the Debaters. I do love the Debaters, and I've actually been added by them. They know we exist.
There you go.
And I make zero reference to them because I'm like, we want to stand alone so we don't cramp your
Well, you're
shit.
not at all like,
I
don't do the same thing at all, but
we do, but we don't. I was like, I love your format. I'm going to do that with movies, and we'll just wing it from there.
Right.
That was
like
the
it's
only
not
thing I
pre-written bits and stuff.
And you know what? It took us like 20 to 90 episodes to realize we should just go around the room and like break everything down like a real debate. Like topic 1, topic 2. We would like we would preach Stentorian for 20 minutes and then expect every one of us to remember what the other one fucking said. You'd be like, what did you say about the Watchmen again being part of your bowling team? And it just wouldn't fly. And those are the things you fucking figure out as you go.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to. So that's just an example of the Canadian industry at least doing a little bit of that, giving opportunities to comedians. They record those in all cities across the country, and they bring some local, some traveling comics, and they again give opportunities to comedians to get out there and get known by a national audience where they wouldn't normally have that opportunity.
That's really smart, and they always have their humor's better than ours. I mean, Fawlty Towers and whoa. It's been a long day.
That's it. That's the only British show. They did one, and then they did a bunch of panel shows. That's
it. John Cleese, Terry, what's his fucking face? Clip clop, clip clop, clip clop.
I mean,
Monty Python.
You're talking about Monty Python as a whole. Okay, I wasn't sure where you were going. I was going to say that, but then I thought that would be too obvious.
I was doing the coconuts from, Holy Grail? The horses?
Yeah. Blackadder was an old bit of Fry and Laurie. That's where I knew Stephen Fry from a long time British show.
Him
QI.
And Hugh Laurie, right?
And then Hugh Laurie I knew from House, and then I went and looked back, and I'm like, oh, he was on Blackadder. Oh, he had a sketch show with Stephen Fry. That's brilliant.
It is so good. It is it is such a fucking unknown. People need to watch that shit. I tripped over it too. Yeah. Because I went down a huge Hugh Laurie rabbit hole because I just wanted to be him in real life at one point. I just was like, I appreciated his brashness, and I was going through something, I think. And I was just like, I love how not like how broken he is, but it also makes him so vulnerable at the same time, which makes him a prick. Like that's how the complicated character that he is. But I loved like she's like, how do you know I didn't switch your Vicodin for Tylenol? He's like, how do you know I didn't switch you birth control for Tylenol? Right? Like that kind of shit, that snarky shit just always drew me into him. And then being the perfect brain that he is with the one case a month, but
then you do the deep dive into, well, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, right. Where did all of this drama come from? And it came from this sketch comedy writer.
Yeah.
Who also plays fucking jazz piano and has a couple albums. You're just like, who are you, Hugh Laurie?
Yeah.
And it ends up being the guys who have like 20 different tools in their toolbox, right? Like you can write, but you can also act, and you can also produce, and you can also camera. Like if you know a couple of things from everything, really makes you a fucking triple threat. And like guys like Conan are like the guys like Lonely Island are like that. They were like, we'll control it all.
Yeah.
We'll make it. We'll produce it. There's nothing that we're not involved in because we sat here for 4 days and watch them do this.
Conan had to discover that because of the whole Tonight Show debacle, where it's like, no, we need to control everything.
Yeah.
We can't leave it up to a network or other people. It's got to be us through and through. So now, since then, like when he started the TBS show and beyond, it's all his stuff. He owns everything. He's doing everything from the ground up. It's all his team, his people.
It's so crazy, but it's always been about the rights, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, but from a like the less cynical, I guess, version of that is it's always been about having control of your art. I mean, going to the music side of things, like for years and years and years, it was all about like who owns the what are they called? Like the originals, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the
tapes.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. The masters. That's
the
the word I was
masters,
looking
that's
for.
it, yeah.
Who owns the masters? And all these amazing, incredible artists didn't own their own stuff. And now that's changed because like the industry's changed and we know we have the knowledge, and so a lot of artists can like get behind it from the very beginning and be like, no, if they're gonna sign a deal, they're making sure they own the masters to what they're doing, because like artists have been screwed over for many, many, many years, including big ones, small ones, and everything in between.
When you have to do shit like Taylor Swift does, where you have to re-record your entire discography so that you can have the rights because now you changed them.
And what a brilliant idea.
Right?
Like,
fuck you, Scooter Braun.
Yeah, like it's not like, and that's like, maybe she doesn't do that if she's just pissed off about the rights, but the fact that he's like a piece of garbage too, it's like, well, I'll one up you then.
I will make you penniless.
Yeah.
What you bought is valued
worthless
no
now,
more.
because everyone wants my version.
Yeah, and my version, I can take as much time because guess what? I don't need money now. I have money. I can take 2 years off and just be like, let's do it all over again, and resell it, put it back out online.
And as if no one's going to listen to literally every song is brackets Taylor's version.
Right?
Like,
right?
No one's
the Taylor version.
Yeah, people are going to listen to that version because
TS
she's
remix.
the artist. Yeah.
Okay, so I told you that at some point we would talk about what you're watching.
That's what we were supposed to
That's
start
what we were
with.
supposed to start with, but
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I don't give a shit.
You know, my close friends and my family and my wife would all say that this is just what Paul does.
Yeah,
he derails conversations.
Dude, I don't want to have
an hour later you realize,
I don't want to have to dig. I know how to plant gems that turn into diamonds and just let people go. I think that's the best thing about it. That's what I was told, is that you're there to facilitate the interview. You're not there to be a part of the interview.
And if for anyone listening that does want to go back and look, either watch or listen to interviews that I've done, when I'm the interviewer, I don't steamroll it. When I'm the guest, the odd time I've been a guest on a thing, I've done TV media for promoting events that I'm putting on or whatever. I can yammer on, but I'm not. Check out some interviews.
I listened to your Fred Penner interview today.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we've got a couple recent ones after through the pandemic. We haven't had a lot of content because there haven't been a lot of festivals, which is what we mostly cover now, like big Just for Laughs or Winnipeg Comedy Fest or Winnipeg
Fringe
Folk Fest, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I listened.
But now I got Fred Penner, and I just posted one this week with Jay Wood, a local musician who's blowing up globally.
I used to sing in the same choir as his kid, Damien.
Oh.
So I think his name's Damien.
I think that, yeah.
Yeah. When we were kids, like grade 5 and grade 6. So it would be weird because like my interaction with him was I saw him at a David Copperfield like magic night.
Yeah.
And I just ran up to him and was like, Fred, and I hugged him, and my mom was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, happens all the time.
Yeah.
And because it's like you crawl through a log to get to your playland. Kids are going to hug you, dude.
Yeah.
And then
I did that a year ago at Costco to him.
See what I mean? Right. Get off me. Go buy your own meat. So then the next time I saw him was when he'd show up and pick up his kid. And I was just like, this is weird. Like, you're totally fucking ruining my childhood, dude. Now you're just a normal dad.
You're just
fuck. But no, I liked the interview because he was you were talking to him about like how important being in a room with music is, and sharing that environment. And the same thing with film, like going to the theater and being in a room with everybody experiencing this stupid piece of make believe is, even if it's a biopic, it's still make believe.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like
it's still
fucking fake
being filmed. Yeah.
Right. Even
documentaries are sort of make-believe.
Nowadays, fake news. Just kidding. But like you really do need that dark room with that big sound and that big image and that big performance to really seal it. And it was just nice to hear that, like you were talking about Children's Fest with him and stuff. Like I remember seeing him at Kids Fest, Children's Festival, like, and like big proponent of the one here that kind of sparked the rest of it around the world, right?
Yeah.
No, that was we own Fred Penner, kids. He's from Winnipeg.
He's ours. He doesn't mostly live here anymore, but he's still ours.
Yeah, it's like Neil Young, right?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Born in Toronto, but lived here, so we're like, we fucking have him. And then everyone's like, he's from Toronto. Fuck you. Anyways.
Quick question from me.
Sure, yeah,
just because
you want to spin it?
Well, I'm just curious. You probably talked about it we've had so many episodes on this. You probably talked about it, but I haven't heard it, so I'm just curious.
Yes.
Because you were talking about the dark room, the film, like being there in
yes,
it.
yeah.
Do you remember the first movie you saw in the theater? Or that you think was the first movie?
Grade 5, grade 6, grade 4. I started to go see movies in the theater in grade 4, 5, and 6 because I became a patrol.
Ooh, yes. Free movies. Patrol movies.
I'll go back even further than that. I want to say it was at the old Garden City Famous Players.
Okay.
And it was The Rescuers Down Under.
Okay.
Like an old Disney. It
Yeah.
It was around that era of Disney.
Yeah.
And it was with my grandma.
Okay.
So like 6, 7, 8, somewhere around
Yeah.
there, probably. No, maybe not. No, Rescuers Down. The Rescuers maybe, because The Rescuers Down Under was after. That was when I
was
go
the
to
sequel,
Australia,
yeah.
with the big fucking eagles.
But yet, I think it's more famous than the...
Yeah.
Which is why that you would have gone there first.
But yeah, no, that's like under 10 for sure. You? We've never talked about this, by the way.
No.
Now I must have to.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it just, when you were describing being in the theater and that whole thing, it got me thinking of my first movie, which was, do you remember the King's Theater on Portage that then became like King Sports and all that?
Yeah.
So it was
like
a movie theater.
West Portage,
Yeah, down in St.
Well,
James.
it's a big fucking room with this tiny little walk-in area, and you're like, it looks like a theater.
Yeah, and it was. And so I remember, it might not have been the first movie I saw in theaters, but it's the first I remember seeing in theaters, which was Big. Tom Hanks is Big. And I remember seeing that in the theaters. And
Such a dream to turn into an adult in a kid's store.
Yeah. And
right?
like for that to be like your first experience seeing a movie on a big screen and like connect with that whole thing. Like I was younger than the character in the movie, but just like...
The first time you saw a genie in a box that you could put a quarter in, you were like, I'm going to fucking try this.
1,000,000%. Absolutely, I did that.
Zanzibar or whatever the fuck that guy was in there. So what are you sent me a list of things that you were consuming lately.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think it would be fair to spoil some Thor. If you haven't seen Thor by this point, have you seen Thor?
I saw Thor.
Okay.
This is a rare occurrence where I didn't, because I was covering the Winnipeg Folk Festival for showbizmonkeys.com.
Yep.
Thursday to Sunday, June 8th to 11th, or July 8th to 11th. Well, Thor came out on July 8th, like the Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
I
went the Monday I got back from Fest.
You were at Folk Fest too.
I was volunteer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, I tried to see if there was a way I could see the earliest screening before going out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted to make sure I caught the first performance. Sweet Alibi, a local band. I know some of the members. I have them booked later this summer, so like for a festival, for an event. And so I was like, I got to be there for that. There's no way I can see the first showing and get out to there. So I had to wait, and then I had other things going on. So it was a full week. I just saw it last Thursday, and
so the week after it came out,
a week later
Wow.
than I could have. And for me, like I'm always at Marvel movies first chance I can get, partly because I want to see it, and partly because I follow a lot of YouTube accounts that talk about it in depth, and I don't want to be spoiled, and I want to be a part of those like things.
Yeah, you get FOMO.
Yeah, and I've I
get FOMO too.
We'll talk about like the things I'm watching right now, but really I watch YouTube and I watch
new rock
people
stars.
like new rock stars. I'm a diehard.
As much as I love the channel, and this might be a sacrilegious thing to say, I only watch what I need to confirm with them because they are my Bible. Like I go to them before anybody else. But I've really tried in this part of Reel Debaters world to stay away from other people.
That makes sense.
Because I do not want to get caught up in, well, let's try that, let's try this. Like I want a good foundation of so many things here that we can fuck around with that I'm not charmed by what the new rock stars are doing, because the new rock stars are doing it perfectly. And to play in that,
And hey, their story was a weird winding road, so like yours can be too.
Yeah, right.
Because they were a new media rock stars, and they had people covering pop culture and like basically covering other YouTubers. That was where the channel started.
Oh, that's
It
really
was
interesting.
totally different
I'm late to
people.
the party. I came as soon as everybody was like,
Well,
"What's
yeah.
new rock stars?" I'm like,
I
yeah.
was late to the party too, but then I was curious, and I'm like
Sure.
going down their like video history. I'm like, some of these aren't talking about Daredevil breakdowns at all. Like that's where it was like Daredevil and like Jessica Jones like episode breakdowns and stuff that got me into it. And then I realized, they started as this whole other thing, and then they did one video that was, I can't remember what it was now, but like it's on their wiki or something, where like they covered this one like nerdy thing, and it got way more views than anything they've ever done. And they're like, we should just be concentrating on this instead of just covering YouTubers. Like people want to get inside baseball. Second time I've used that term in this interview. On like the nerdy things they like to watch. And so they hired people that cared about that sort of thing, and are now like a smaller company actually, but bigger than ever, because like they have just a group of people that are all passionate about.
They harness, they find, they recruit. It's like this army that they have over there of like, okay, cool. No, you want to do this stuff? Okay, well, we need this. When they branch out, it's like they go and find someone real passionate or a stan in that environment.
Yeah, and bring them
then
in.
they're like, okay, do a couple videos, probably do some test camera shit and see if you're good for this. And then because fuck, how do you talk about movies so perfectly, Eric? Do you edit at all? Like his videos are so seamless, and he's got such good flow, and he understands cadence, and it's just like you really can, and he's enjoyable to watch.
Yeah,
he
he
has
seems
nerdy
like a
moments.
genuinely nice person, and
But back to Thor though.
yeah, so it was really hard for me to avoid spoilers for that week, because everything coming up in my subscriptions was like, because this is totally fair. After the weekend, fair game. Post stuff on
48
YouTube.
48-hour embargo.
If people haven't seen it, that's up to them, and so it's on me that I still chose to keep subscribing during that week.
Yeah.
I could have avoided, but I still wanted to kill time at the end of the night and watch something, and so I was watching the other stuff around it and trying to avoid. I pretty much avoided everything other than one minor thing that wasn't a big.
So, like, first off, what do I talked about this with Ian, and Emily had yet to see it. She's seen it since. I haven't had a chance to talk to her about it. But I had this feeling that I'd seen this friend before as a film.
Yeah.
And it paced and played exactly like Ragnarok with a different plot. Like the arena scene with Hulk is God Castle. Right. And the meeting of Loki and the father bonding thing, the family story, is now a romantic comedy. Right. So it's very similar to Ragnarok, but a different ending altogether. So I was like, okay, we're not stepping too far outside the boundaries of what people came to love about Ragnarok. But that's also, you haven't stepped outside why Ragnarok was so great. And I just felt they really branded it like it was going to be bigger and crazier. And it wasn't that bigger and crazier than Ragnarok was.
No, I think, to me, Ragnarok was crazier.
It's such a fucking diamond in the rough, if you want to get Aladdin about it, right? A funny Marvel movie after all these serious movies.
Well, with the most serious character.
Right? The arrogant, passionate god who is never falls, never falters, never fucks up. And all of a sudden is spinning around in a chain going, whoa, hang on. Sorry, 1 second. I'm coming back around. Like that first sequence of him trapped in the dungeon. You're just like, this. What am I watching? And I felt like, okay, we've seen all this already. So I was a little disappointed there, but where do you where do you land with it? Did you like the Jane story? Did you like more Korg? Like, what were your favorite parts?
So based on people that I watch and follow, their early chatter about it, and the trailers, I tried to not watch too many of the special features and stuff, like just watch the trailers and then avoid like the extra
I did
footage.
that with this too. I was like, you theorize too much.
Yeah.
And then you just, you go into,
Exactly.
I theorized way too much for
Multiverse of Madness?
that and No Way Home.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I was just like, I want Spider-Man to show up this way. And when it didn't happen,
the way you had expected.
I was let down, but then when you look at it, and the Andrew Garfield sequence is fucking fantastic.
It's brilliant, yeah.
But at the time, I'm like, a portal just opens up. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know what I mean? But yeah.
So I was expecting to like it even more than I liked Ragnarok, and I loved Ragnarok. It hit all my sensibilities of like combining Marvel with the type of humor that I love. I think Taika Waititi is hilarious, and
he puts little things where you just
and like it's not the same as
British
sense of humor, but like New Zealand humor has a sense of that, like whether it's the colonialism of it all or whatever. There's like in the same way that Canadian humor has a little bit of like the British sensibilities more than the American at times. So I found it exactly what I wanted in a movie. With Love and Thunder, I felt a little bit differently than you, and I thought it didn't have exactly the same pacing, and I thought one of the big issues I had with it was the pacing.
Really? Okay.
I thought for the first half of the movie especially, they were just cutting between things too much, and you weren't exploring the scene enough.
Whoa, Guardians are there. Whoa, no, they're not.
Yeah, and like it goes back to reading afterwards, finding out like the first cut, now not the first cut that was ever going to be released, but like the first cut based on what was shot was 4 hours long.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And then, sure, that happens for, Infinity War, and then it's cut to 3 hours and 10 minutes or whatever it was. But this was 4 hours long, cut to 1 hour and 55 minutes.
That's a lot of cutting out that you can get lost in and screw up how the whole thing is.
Yeah.
Is that what you're getting at?
And yeah, so I don't think... Like, I think the story flowed. Like, I didn't feel there's they didn't tie this thread or whatever. I just thought that if they were gonna make an hour and 55 minute movie rather than a 2.5 hour movie, they should have just completely cut certain things out. They should have just.
Ian thought it should have been longer.
Yeah, either longer or shorter. Not even shorter, but like. Cut certain plot points altogether and include a little bit more of the ones that you keep in.
It almost looked like they were like, these are such cool scenes.
Yeah.
Spite, like cut your nose off, spite your face kind of thing. We're not even going to take them out because people will love them. We'll hope they love them so much that to tie it in is clunky. But that's in editing, right?
Yeah, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I was the last 20 minutes. I don't know if I'm being exact, but like about the last 20 minutes, I think.
When we get to eternity? Like the black and white fight out and all that stuff?
Everything from the black and white fight on, I think, is paced beautifully. And
it was a lovely ending.
And moved me.
Love and thunder.
Yeah.
Right?
But like everything about it, and the humor in those parts still worked. Like it's not like it's only because it became serious or whatever.
Okay, so like traditionally, we don't see Thor just grant Thunderbolt powers.
Yeah.
But when he gives it to the kids, I was like, I don't fucking care that this doesn't make sense. But it was fun.
But here's the thing. Odin granted powers.
That's true. Okay.
So.
And if he is the true Thor.
And then I heard after watching it, I heard in a thing people talking saying like, we'll just ignore the fact that he gave all these kids powers that like now they're all powerful. But no, he does actually. They have it in the script where he says, grant these children powers for the time being or whatever. He throws that in there. So like these kids aren't going to be all powerful forever. They're going to be powerful when we need them right now. But yeah, like they had the precedent to Odin doing that. To Thor, like to the hammer, like Odin.
They also really caught it too with Mjolnir and Jane
and that thing,
and making sure that you understood
that there's a reason behind why Jane was connected to this and why Jane had these powers in the film version of this story.
And if you missed it when she drops the hammer for the first time
and then loses,
then you, for everybody who wasn't in on the fucking the nuance, you catch it in the actual play out.
So like. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I liked it. If we're comparing all the Marvel movies, which isn't really fair because they're made by so many different people trying to do so many different things.
Yeah.
But if we're comparing it, which I am, I liked it more than Multiverse of Madness, but less than Ragnarok.
Okay.
Like it's somewhere probably if I'm ranking all the Marvel movies, which I won't sit and do, it's somewhere in the middle.
I have
Multiverse of Madness also somewhere in the middle, but a little bit lower, like in the maybe 2/3 down kind of thing.
Yeah, Multiverse. Like, I don't remember it well. Like, it just didn't. Both Doctor Strange movies, like, haven't really gotten inside me. Like, they haven't.
In very different ways.
Yeah.
I think. Well, I don't. It's how you feel,
yeah.
so I can't say that to you. But for me, I feel the same way, and I feel it in very different ways. Like, I feel the movies are very different from each other, and neither of them show. Like, I think Doctor Strange has been better in every other appearance he's been in the MCU besides his two own movies.
Yeah. Like, he's a great side piece, but he's not your number one.
Or if he is, he needs to just the story needs to be truly about him in the right way.
I loved it because of who directed it, but I didn't love the story as much.
Yeah.
You know, like, for everything that happened between him and Wanda, it felt a little rushed. Is she dead? Like, you see her light go out, but you don't actually see her die. We know if you don't see them die on screen, are they dead? Which all adds up to my like actual, like, another question here. We asked this before. Where the fuck is Phase 4 going?
So there's another person that I follow online.
Like, nobody knows. Even the fucking pros don't know.
Well, so have you ever heard of Coy Jandreau?
I have now.
He appears on a channel called The Reel Rejects. There's Reel in there too.
I like it.
They started by doing just tons of reaction videos to things, but now they include commentary and all sorts of stuff. And he's also now made some appearances on the daily show that New Rockstars has been doing.
Okay.
So it's been fun to see him, like, pop over there when I already saw him over the other thing.
Yeah, they bling my fucking YouTube account constantly.
Yeah, I know. Every day now there's new stuff. There's so much.
It used to be like every 3 days to a week.
Yeah.
But you know that now they got more money. They got more sponsors.
Yeah, they've
right?
got, exactly. Anyway, he is really kind of like, he sees the picture for Phase 4 and where they're headed. And like Kevin Feige has said, like, don't worry, we have a plan here. And like,
it's said by every movie
I know,
executive.
but I think that they're
he still bleeds red.
Right. But
he's still human.
100%. He's made lots of mistakes.
I'm just being an antagonist.
He has. But think about all the projects, like the TV shows and the movies that have come over since in Phase 4, or everything but Black Widow, really, which should have been a Phase 2 movie.
That's a pandemic problem.
And before that, a sexism problem. Not giving Black Widow her own movie.
Why is she getting the last movie, guys? She's got a pretty big fucking story with two of these characters.
And it takes place in the time period that they could have made the damn movie.
Right. She's hooked with Hulk. She's hooked with Hawkeye. She's hooked with Cap. Tony's the only one she doesn't have a really good relationship with. And even she was in Iron Man 2.
Yeah, like that was her debut.
It really was a hard pill to swallow to be like, because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm.
Oh, you haven't?
I didn't. I really was like, no, I'm not gonna. Like, you screwed her. I'm sure you paid her, but you screwed her around with her, and the whole fucking straight to DVD or straight to streaming thing. Like, I just was angry at Disney for a minute because I was like, you guys, you have all the fucking money in the world and the machines to print it. You didn't need to do this, and all it was metrics and algorithms and being able to fucking skip the dishes and blow them out of the water, right? Like, it's really about that kind of shit.
So I won't spoil Black Widow for you.
I know what happens.
Okay,
I know Taskmaster. I know all the.
So yeah. Black Widow is a fine movie with like
I read everything if I don't see it.
Okay. that was season 1 of Iron Fist for me. I never did watch it.
Yeah,
it's like I heard so many bad things. I'm like, you know what? I'll read the recap. I watched season 2. It was decent, but I just like I think that's the only MCU thing I haven't actually watched all the way through.
There's like 3 or 4.
But yeah, Black Widow, fine movie. Underwritten, disappointing villain. Like they didn't give her justice or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that film in Phase 4, every other movie in Phase 4 has either been multiverse related or dealing with some sort of realm or plane, whether it's an afterlife or
okay, so are we getting into Secret Wars? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, we're definitely getting to Secret Wars.
Secret Wars is coming, but
definitely. But before that, I think we're exploring everything that is beyond. Like we had a snap. We had half the population of the entire known universe that we know.
2 major comic book series included in Phase 1 through 4, 1 through 3.
Yeah. With the Civil, and so
3, yeah, you're right. Civil War, Infinity War, and Gauntlet, Infinity War, and Civil War, yeah.
And so, we've seen the vast universe now. Now I think Phase 4 is all about like learning about what lurks beneath, like what is like. I mean, Quantumania, Ant-Man.
The Kang the Conqueror stuff, I'm really fucking hoping
but like
pays off.
That's going to tie in to like to the quantum. What's it called? The quantum realm, right?
Quantum realm, yeah.
Yeah, and like all these different realms and how do they coexist? Like I think they will all connect when you realize that. Like, sorry, I don't. Have you? I can talk about what's happened in any of these shows, right? Like, no, people have. What have you not
Spoiler
watched?
alert! Spoiler. I haven't seen Miss Marvel. I haven't seen Jessica Jones, and I haven't seen all of Daredevil.
Okay, well,
but I'm going back to Daredevil.
Some of Miss Marvel will be. So I won't.
I know what happens though.
But
no.
Well, yes, but that's not what I'm getting at. It's more like the overall plot of the show deals with like the newer dimension and like a second.
The Jinn. I hear.
Yeah, but not really. But yeah. But like this another realm essentially.
Okay.
That's like over top of the Earth, but like not like they could take over. Like
it's a different plane.
Exactly, and I think that like the ancestral plane from Black Panther and we saw Valhalla at the end of Thor. Like I think all of these.
What's the place where you go after
the Duat in Moon Knight? Is that what you're?
No, not the fucking Moon Knight was so good. Not the Duat Moon Knight. The plane that Thanos goes to after he sacrificed.
Oh yeah, the Soul Stone.
The Soul Stone.
That thing.
Yeah, that plane.
Like I think all of these things will, at some point in Phase 4, and it's also tough because there's so many projects already in Phase 4, but we're only like halfway or a third or halfway through, right? So we like when you were halfway through Phase 1 or Phase 2, you didn't quite know where it was all going yet.
No,
but we've seen so many projects.
We had
in this
a lot of really good breadcrumbs that had direction in them. That if they didn't always all make sense, you knew where you were going, but you didn't know how you were getting there, which was the fun part of it. And I guess at the end of Thor, like the end credit scene, first of all, she didn't die on the battlefield. So technically going to Valhalla is kind of a moot point, which is fine because we need to keep Jane. That's fine.
We imply it's implied in the last movie based on the gold dust that Odin went to Valhalla,
yes,
but Odin just died on the edge of a mountain.
I know.
So
they confuse you.
I know
right?
because they threw in that line with Lady Sif and
yes,
yeah,
and you're just like, what? Okay, I mean, one or the other. I'm fine with both.
I just want to say my version of that in my headcanon version is that Thor just doesn't understand.
Sure.
Thor just doesn't get it.
Well, and they say that Thor's on a journey to find out who he is. So if he's missing things in life,
yeah, he just didn't hear it properly from his dad, and he's saying the wrong thing to Sif.
And Stormbreaker like cuts into the scene,
yeah,
because Stormbreaker's jealous of Mjolnir. It's
that's
like what?
We're
just talking.
That's one of the funniest scenes in the movie for sure.
Okay, I said this before. I'll say it again. Did you catch the throne that the other Korg-like person was sitting on? Did you see what it was made
not
out
until after the fact. I didn't see it in the.
But you know what it was made out of.
Yeah.
Those things.
Yeah.
Or the two Celestials.
Yeah.
On the way in through the Bifrost.
Yeah.
Which, like, I love hearing Bifrost because everybody out in the internet calls it Bitfrost. And I'm like, it's Bifrost because I watched Thor. And this is New Iceland out here. So it's Bifrost, you guys. Okay. I know all you fucking Manitoba people who don't come from Iceland call it Bitfrost. But it's Bifrost. I'm sure it's going to be called Bifrost, and I'm fucking this up. But whatever. Okay, so do you think? All right. Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
They've recently, as of this week, Penn Badgley from Y is being considered for Reed Richards. That's the rumor. Also, the big tall guy from How I Met Your Mother, Jason Segel,
I heard
for
that
Thing.
today.
Yeah.
Which I mean, isn't he supposed to be not a tall guy?
Yeah,
like Ben Grimm.
Well, that was like casting Hugh Jackman for Wolverine. We all got over it, but
right. But
if
you when they recast Wolverine,
it's
probably should be a shorter guy.
Taron Egerton is my pick.
Well, that's the. You know what I heard? Another channel that I love on YouTube, Nando V Movies.
I've seen it. Yeah.
So he has his like Wolverine casting. He does these like long. He has like an X-Men casting. There's one I haven't watched yet, which is like the B level X-Men. Like he wants to cast. He just has really cool, interesting. Insights into why he makes these choices. His pick and Taron Egerton.
Eggsy. I just call him Eggsy from Kingsman.
He's one of his picks. The other one that's floating around the internet a lot, which is
Henry Cavill.
No, Harry Potter.
Fuck.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
So Daniel Radcliffe has been getting some buzz if he bulked up, like because he's shorter and all that. And what is his name now? But the lead from Letterkenny.
Oh, Jared Keeso?
That
You're
is his
shitting me.
And he paints such a beautiful picture of why he'd be a great pick.
Why? Because he's Shoresy, which was an awesome show, by the way.
Because he can play angry, he can play nuance, he's got the look, he's been a creator, so he can like handle like the pressure because he's like run his own show and like been that. He's a relative unknown outside of people that like follow that. He can handle the wisecracking that Wolverine needs. And
how are you now?
And he's Canadian.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, I wanted to be Jared Keeso so bad.
Like he wasn't on my radar when I started watching
fucking Wolverine.
When I started watching that video, not at all on my radar. And by the end of it, I'm like, he has to be Wolverine.
Oh my God, from Cold Lake, Alberta. Oh my God. And
right?
Like somehow incorporate hockey into it, like just like.
Well,
really
he's a Canadian,
right? Like his favorite
character.
hockey team.
Why not?
Fuck.
So that's like, who knows how they're gonna figure it in if he's gonna be someone that's been around. Anyway,
that blows my mind.
I think that would be cool casting.
Yeah, I love fan. We've done a couple fan castings on the show.
Nice.
Do you want to come back for one of those sometime?
Sure.
Like sit in with us and we can be like, all right, so we're gonna go around the room and we're gonna fan cast. We fan casted the next James Bond.
Oh, okay.
And we landed hard on. I'm getting hungry. My brain is eluding me here. Fuck, Idris Elba.
Yeah, I
really want Idris Elba to be Bond.
He's been he was talked about as Bond years ago.
Yes.
And then
I'm just afraid he might age out.
Well, yeah, so Luther kind of was his Bond. Like he's like, well, if they're not going to give me Bond, then I'll just
go
make my own show.
Yeah.
And there's a Luther movie coming out.
I heard about that.
I mean, it's a weird show. Like if you've watched it, like I don't know how he keeps coming back. Like he keeps getting away with stuff and keeps coming back. But he's kind of like a rough Bond.
That's what I've been told. Like he's that really tough street cop.
Yeah.
In like the bad area of London, right?
And can like figure out things that you're not quite sure how he can figure out, just like Bond, right? Like how did he like figure that out? But like you love that he figured it out.
You just root for the win, right?
Yeah. And his presence is next to none. Like he's incredible. He's married to a Canadian.
Dude, I'm gonna I would honestly love to sit here and talk to you for
Sorry, you are hungry. I've been yammering.
No, I'm hungry is just starting. But I want to keep a promise to you. Yes, we're approaching like 2 hours here.
Oh, geez.
So
I lost track of time.
But I do want you to promote whatever the fuck you're doing, right? Let's do some Sean Evans shit here. Talk to that camera. Talk to that camera. Talk to that camera. What's the biggest thing in your life right now? Shit, I'm gonna get sued.
When is this coming out?
This will be in a couple, like 2 weeks from now.
Okay, so then I won't talk about the thing coming out this weekend because long in the past.
Talk about things coming out in late August, early September.
That's so perfect because aside from all the other things that we talked about, I run events here in Winnipeg.
You do.
I run live events, and I've had the opportunity to work with Assiniboia Downs on some big summer events.
Yes, I saw
for many years.
Canada Day event there.
Yeah, which I missed because I had COVID.
Oh fuck!
I booked this whole big show with my
Huxley,
my favorite musician in the world, headlining.
To the Wood. Yeah. To the Wood. Did you see that special he did for Christmas?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
To the Wood.
Of course I did. I was sitting there watching it live. Yeah.
I shovel my driveway and think of Housekeeping Workman every fucking time. To the Wood.
Someone in the
nice lights.
Nice lights. Yeah, exactly. So anyway.
Yeah.
But we have other great night markets coming up, and there's one at the end of August 28th. If you are in Winnipeg listening to this, which I don't know what your algorithm shows, but
everybody, we are supported by Winnipeg primarily.
There you go.
They are at the top of the list every single time.
If you're in Winnipeg, come down to Assiniboia Downs on August 28th. Sweet Alibi is playing.
Oh, yeah.
We have a special headliner that we can't even announce yet.
Oh, wow.
A big local band that are going to blow the roof off. But we have, lots of great local acts. Julian's Daughter, Alex Mayer, 2 stages.
Nice.
It's like $7 to get in.
Yeah.
Like the market.
I'll be there with a $10 bill.
And then you've got 2 stages of live music that should be $50, but you get it for $7. So come down to Assiniboia Downs. It's a lot of fun. So that's
Send
the
me
last.
all that shit, and I'll
that's-
put it in the show notes. So
Sounds great. That's the
whoever-
last night market of this year. We have one coming up as
Like
recording.
June, July, August. You did. them,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And then we had the Canada Day thing and a couple other things. So that's the big thing. I run an open mic that isn't anything goes. So if you do comedy, you do music, you do whatever. Every Monday night in the summer, we're at the Cube at Old Market Square.
That's right,
Every
I also
Monday
saw that online.
until September 19th. Otherwise, we're at XQ's, a local venue and restaurant.
Excuse.
Bar here in Winnipeg every Monday all year round. And showbizmonkeys.com. Every so often we have interviews. We have Andrew Lizotte has an ongoing podcast that
Punch
he's
Up.
been running on there, Punch Up Your Life,
Yeah.
which is just a great premise that he's had some really great guests on, which is like taking like film and like script write, because he's a dramaturge and he's a comedian and all of that, and like bringing guests on to talk about like a seminal moment in their childhood or their life or whatever, and then how would we cast this? How would we make it into a film? How can I change something for the effect? And then they have sound effects every so often and things like that.
It
The
is. I
producer
was
puts it in.
listening to the dude who was on Cavendish. What was his name? A couple episodes ago, like 2 or 3.
Oh,
episodes
yeah.
ago.
I also can't remember his name.
That's
He's
a-
blowing up. He's been in some
Yeah.
big things this year.
I hit follow on both on Spotify today, and you're in my queue. So
Yeah, check that out. Andrew's a great comic who's actually on the kind of sort of maybe like a podcast that I do interviews for. Over the last few years, more of them are him, because he talks to a lot of comedians in Toronto for JFL 42 and that sort of thing. So we'll probably be doing that again this year, which is in September. So we'll probably have some comedian interviews coming up in September for that.
teach me your ways, Obi-Wan. Just show me how to be. Just send an email.
Yeah,
Right?
I'll give you the email address of
That'll be-
the person who
Yeah.
does the media for JFL.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah.
You're the
They're
best,
great.
man.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
just
are.
ask. Just ask.
Just ask. That's the
it.
title of the episode.
There you go.
Just ask. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So as he said, all those things are going to be in the show notes. So you go to the show notes and you just click on them and you buy the tickets and you put the events in your calendar and you go do this shit, because it's Winnipeg stuff. And we bitched and moaned all winter
Yeah.
because of all the shit that was going on in the world, and you have very limited time in this fucking city. So like, don't be like, oh, what the fuck am I going to do? This is how you figure out to do shit.
So much to do.
Put this shit in your calendar, and then when it shows up, you'll be like, oh, yeah, we're doing this. For us, there's that little end credit that we love to leave, that if you're the first timer here and you just press play this one time, don't judge us on this. Go backwards. Listen to some other stuff. Judge us on that. That would be better. Don't go back too far. Go back like to the middle. What is it? I don't know. Probably like 160 episodes by now, which is like more than I ever thought we'd do. But yeah, go listen to other shit. There's a whole story. We talk about things. There's a thread that goes through all this stuff. There's lessons we've learned. There's moments on the show where we've been like, hey, we're going to continue to do this. So if you like what we're doing now, you could find the moment where we were like, fuck, we should do this, and thinking none of you were listening and we're being idiots. So that's there, and all the other stuff on how to support a podcast, merch, subscribe, like, all that stuff is in the end for you. If you've done this dance before, subscribe to more, buy more, shop our merch. There's tons of fucking, we sell skateboards.
Woo.
We're part of
I
Threadless.
don't have.
We're part of Threadless.com.
So
they give
are
like a-
we. Why don't I choose Why didn't I add skateboards
Well,
for our
I'll show
Purple
you.
Room and Caravan
It's
merch?
all in your accessories, and you can get a full customized deck through the Reel Debaters. Tote
Wow.
bags, beach towels. We have puzzles with our logo on them.
Nice.
Like, I just said yes to everything. It's
yeah,
like,
you're just like, sure,
yeah,
do it all.
I don't fucking care. Here's my logo. Do what you want with it. And it's like free over $75 for shipping. So if you want a t-shirt and there's like 3 other people who want a t-shirt, there you go. There's
Free
your
shipping.
It's free shipping right there. And yeah, so do that stuff. Dude, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure meeting you that day at the film fest there.
Yeah,
What do they call those
that's
again?
the MIPS.
The MIPS,
a member-initiated project.
That's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was so cool. I want to like do a show from there next time.
There were some great films this
There
year on that,
was.
just to promote the ACTRA MIPS.
Yeah, like they were super. I was like, I don't know what we're in for, Jimmy, and I was like, we're not smart enough for some of this shit. That's just how it is. So I've been Michael Petrow,
Paul Little.
and yeah, I'm gonna come up with a better tagline going forward. But watch all the movies for now, kids. That was just the impulse one.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
It's good,
I know.
good advice.
Yeah, now I got to do it. All right, just say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Reel Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Reel Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Reel Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one-click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and what we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. So that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's thereeldebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So that you can send an email to us there, request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball. There's places to do that as well too, like the Reel Debaters website. You can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser, reeldebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless, and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes, or if you just got $1 and you're like, hey, I want to give you $1 and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well too that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So, that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you, that what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are. And now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody, again, who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play. You took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more, so it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, and watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye.